Hey guys, Jaxie here. Welcome back to another video. So recently I've been asked a lot, like, what does recovery really mean? And can you be considered to be in recovery if you are on maintenance medication or if you're smoking pot or if you drink on the weekends? And do those things go together? So I thought I'd give you guys my opinion on it. So, first off, it's really important to remember that this video is just my opinion. It is not fact. It is not what somebody else may answer to this question. This is just how I view this topic, and I think it's important if you want to know to ask other people in recovery because we do all view recovery differently. Second is that I am a big believer that recovery is a very personal journey. Not everybody's journey is going to look the same. And I think trying to come up with one cookie cutter way of doing recovery is not really helpful to anybody. Look, there are a lot of programs who specify recovery in very specific ways, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. I just think that we need to evaluate what works for us and how we make it, the best we can for ourselves. So, as a lot of you know, I am a member of Narcotics Anonymous, and Narcotics Anonymous is an abstinence-based program. What does that mean? That means no mood or mind-altering chemicals, including alcohol, at any time. And we count clean time, and clean time is the absence of all of those things. So for me personally, I don't think it's safe for me to drink or smoke pot or do any of those other things that may not be considered dangerous to somebody who was an opioid addict, right? The very first relapse I had was I had a little bit of wine one time at dinner, and I literally went from dinner out having a glass of wine to blowing pills up my nose that same night. And I was right back in active addiction. So I know for me, alcohol can be very dangerous. Once I have a little bit of alcohol in me, it can lead me right back out. I know that. I've experienced that. And then in regards to something like pot, like, look, for me, I don't think that marijuana, if I were to smoke it, would lead me back to opiates. I always kind of viewed it separately. However, because I work an abstinence-based program and this program has been working in my life, I stay away from it. I stay away from it because I want to continue to work this program that has been working for me. And because it's abstinence based, that's what I stick to. Now, in regards to medications, I personally do not believe that taking medications in recovery is like anything to do when it comes to abstinence. My opinions are if a doctor is telling you to take any medications, and that includes maintenance medications. Again, this is my opinion. Others who do abstinence-based programs may tell you something different. But in my opinion, abstinence-based programs are not talking about medications. Medications are an outside issue in which you talk to your doctor about. Some people in abstinence-based programs do have very, very strong opinions on things like maintenance medications. I do too, but they're very different. I think that if you are under a doctor's care and you are seeing a doctor who knows that you are an addict, and they are recommending medications for you, then that is between you and your doctor. I do think you should be open with other people in your network so that you're never going through something alone. But I think it's important that we recognize that, like, look, I'm not a doctor, and I don't think it's fair for me to judge anybody's recovery because they're taking medications that their doctor told them they need to take. I do think we need to be a bit careful because I know as an addict, we're very good at manipulating doctors. We're very good at manipulating other people in our lives. And I think it's important that we're always honest. We need to be honest with ourselves too. Are we needing medication? Are we asking for medication because we're looking for an easy way out? Or is it something that's actually helpful? Nobody can answer that question for you, right? Like, that has to be something that you determine with your doctor, with your network, right? Now, that's for me. In regards to other people, I am a huge believer that recovery is different for everybody. I have seen a lot of people relapse after they drink a couple of times, like I know a lot of people who smoke pot sometimes or they drink sometimes, and I've seen it turn bad, right? I've seen people relapse after long periods of abstinence because they decided to drink sometimes. However, Programs like Smart Recovery will tell you that there are some people who are completely capable of drinking occasionally or smoking pot occasionally, and that as long as it is not an everyday thing, it's okay. I think that one, we need to eliminate judgment. There's too much judgment between recovering addicts, right? We do not need to be judging each other. We need to be loving and supporting each other, regardless of whether our programs line up with each other. There are a lot of people that do recovery programs that would really cause me to go out and use. But that doesn't mean that it's not right for them. We need to make sure that we're accepting people for where they're at. Now, yes, if we see somebody who is doing dangerous behaviors or something, we can absolutely talk to them about how we can relate to things. And look, depending on how close we are with the person, maybe it is worth calling them out. Having hard discussions. Hard discussions are never a bad thing, right? But we also need to make sure that our discussions are not based off our preconceived ideas on what recovery looks like. Recovery is not a one-size-fits-all thing. I know a lot of people who are in long-term recovery who can smoke pot once every 6 months and not have a problem, or drink at a wedding once a year and that's it for them. And it works for them. That would not work for me. But again, I would never, ever judge anybody for what they do. I think there's a lot of stigma and a lot of judgments against people who take maintenance medications, and I think that that's wrong. I think that statistically we can see over and over again that people on long-term maintenance have a higher success rate than people who are not. And therefore, if they're judging their life, right? We know addiction is life and death. If they're choosing to take maintenance medications because it's going to help them stay alive, then how can we judge that? How can we make somebody feel bad? That means that that person is making a decision, right? They're making a decision to do everything that they can to stay clean. It may not be what another person believes in, right? It may not be what a program believes in, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. Yes, there are plenty of people that abuse maintenance medication. There are plenty of people that abuse anxiety medication or depression medication, or my gosh, I've even heard of people abusing medications I didn't even know you could abuse. It doesn't mean those medications are wrong. It doesn't mean people who take them are wrong. I think that in order to really be supportive as a recovery community, we need to accept that everybody's recovery program is different. We don't need to be judging people for doing a program that's a little bit different than ours is. Overall, I think having good conversations about the difference of recovery programs is worthwhile. Look, some people go to rehab, some people don't. Some people quit cold turkey and never have a problem, right? My dad quit smoking that way. He smoked cigarettes for a long time, and one day he decided he was going to quit. He threw his pack of cigarettes in the trash and never picked one up again, right? Like, I could never quit anything that way, right? Like, it took me time to quit anything. It took me time to quit biting my nails. I bit my nails my entire life until recently. Maybe about a year ago, I quit biting my nails. We need to do what's working for us. But I do think, again, that it's important that we're honest with ourselves. Are we choosing a way that's not necessarily the best way because it's easier? Are we in denial about some facet of our lives that we're not really addressing? We need to make sure that as long as we're honest with ourselves, we can choose a program of recovery, a path of recovery that's going to work for us. But we do have to make sure that we're not deceiving ourselves into choosing a path that's not necessarily the best for us. But again, I can't judge that for you. Nobody can. We can only judge these things for ourselves. For right now, I feel like my recovery program's pretty strong, and I do my best to support other people. But you guys know me. I would never judge anybody for doing something differently. And sure, there are times where I may not agree, and I'm not sure that somebody's doing the best path for them. But I'll love them where they're at. I'll never tell somebody they're doing the wrong thing. It's a personal journey, and we need to make these decisions for ourselves. So let me know, what do you think? Do you think that there's one right way to do recovery? Is there a specific program that you use that you think has been more successful than others? Has your recovery path changed? Have you broadened your ideas? What is your biggest support in recovery? Share this stuff. Let's have a conversation about it. If you'd like to join my Discord, the link is in the description. Also, if you'd like to support this channel and help me continue to carry a message of recovery to those still suffering, please just consider joining my Patreon. I have a private chat for all levels of my Patreon, as well as videos that I upload just for them. Usually things that are a little more personal that I can't post on YouTube, I'll post over on my Patreon. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I hope to see you all tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for trivia. We do a live game because, whether you're in recovery or not, like, we can have fun. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.